So Mania leaked, and I have yet to say one word about this album, how I feel about it. I have not said anything. And somehow I am still getting shit on by the Fall Out Boy fandom. I tweeted a singular emoji. Only I could tweet one emoji with zero context and get hate for it. But guys, please remember, we gotta respect other people's opinions, right? Even though I have yet to give one. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be reviewing the long-awaited new Fall Out Boy album called Mania. Now this is a record that you guys all probably know I've been super worried about and nervous to even listen to this because I just didn't even know what to expect. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be awful, and luckily it's not awful, I will say that. Definitely a lot better than I did expect, but there's still a lot of misfires and issues that I do have with this album. Basically, I really like the beginning of the album, but it just progressively kind of gets worse and more awkward and cheesy in the middle of the record, which does a huge disservice to the closing track, which is a song that I actually do really like. The best way I can describe this album is like a massive puzzle with like 8 million pieces all scattered out on this table, and you just can't fit them together. You can try all you want to try and force things, but they're just not fitting, and that's how I feel with a lot of these songs on this record as a whole. It just feels like kind of a mess. That's how I feel about the songs on this album being placed next to each other. There's a lot of really different sounds and styles here that are trying to fit on one album, and I just feel like they don't all work together necessarily. But with that said, I'm gonna go track by track and briefly talk about each song, so let's just get into this review. The first track is Stay Frosty, and this is one of the better songs on the album, and it actually had me feeling pretty optimistic when I heard it at first, because I was like, oh, alright, this is actually a pretty great song, and I wouldn't have any problems with this if it wasn't for that one awkward line. This is a recurring issue on Mania as an album, but for this one in particular, the line is, "Are you smelling that shit?" which is repeated 8 times in the song, pretty much with every chorus, and it's just, it's a very awkward line. It's something that I don't want to sing along with. It just doesn't sound right. It just feels kind of dirty. Being in the pre-chorus, it just kind of ruins that chorus for me because I'm just kind of stuck on that line like, ooh. Other than that little nitpick, this is definitely one of the best songs on Mania and one of my top favorites. I really like the use of the French words in this song and the chugging guitars that remind me of their last record, and of course Patrick's voice kind of soars on this one that opens up Mania on a good note. And like I said, this track left me feeling optimistic and kind of hopeful for the rest of the album. It kind of lifted my spirits. I was like, alright, this is not the worst thing in the world. I can actually dig this song. Let's see how the rest of the album sounds. The hook on this is very epic and fun, so well done, boys. The last of the real ones was the first single that I actually really enjoyed. It opens up with this twinkling piano and some nice sounding synths that actually don't get on my nerves for once. I was also really pleased to hear some better lyricism on this track when compared to the first 2 singles. Actually, one of my favorite lines on this entire album is, "I wonder if your therapist knows everything about me." But this song does progress really nicely, and I will say with time it hasn't necessarily gotten better or worse. It just kind of feels the same, and I do enjoy this song. It's one of my top favorites for sure. It feels very mighty and kind of theatric and powerful, and I love that about this track. So I had heard a ton of mixed opinions on Hold Me Tight or Don't, which was the 4th single, I believe, and I did not listen to this when it came out, so I just kind of heard it recently. But because of what I heard from other people, I didn't really know what to expect from this one either. I'd heard that there would be some Latin flavors in there, and it definitely is Latin influenced, but I do like the snapping and the whistling that kind of opens it up and, you know, travels throughout the song. It really kind of holds it together. I love that whole vibe. It's just a whole sound that I really did not expect to find on Mania, but it works. But let me first say that the title of this song is so me. Hold Me Tight or Don't. That attitude is just absolutely hilarious. I really like that this song feels kind of loose, casual, and dancey. It's one that I could easily picture being played on the radio or like at a bar somewhere, and it would not bother me. This is actually probably my favorite song on Mania. Now, this is nowhere near my favorite style or territory that Fall Out Boy have traveled to, but I'll take it. It's different enough in a positive way that it sticks with me, and with every listen, it just sounds better and better. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is definitely my favorite song on Mania. Now, Wilson Expensive Mistakes is one of the most reminiscent of American Beauty, American Psycho in my opinion, also kind of fused with a Foley sound. This is probably my second favorite track overall, and I was surprised by this one because it has probably the best chorus on the album. It's very memorable. There's nothing more cruel than to be loved by everybody but you. So relatable. I think my only problem here with Wilson is the overuse of the line, "I'll stop wearing black when they make a darker color." Now don't get me wrong, I really do like that line, but I just feel like the repetition of it throughout the song with every chorus just kind of ruins it a bit. If it was a standalone lyric in a verse or something, I feel like it would have been a little bit more meaningful, but just because we're saying it so much in this song, it kind of loses its power. But still, I'm not going to boycott the song over that. This is still definitely a standout track. Now, midway through the album, we have Church, which I'm sorry, but I can't take this one seriously. Like, I get the whole point of this song, but it just feels so cheesy. I actually find myself enjoying the verses of this song a lot more than the chorus, just because it is so repetitive and kind of simplistic. I don't know, I'm just kind of torn on this song, and I don't think I'm gonna be coming back to it anytime soon. Heaven's Gate got me so excited because in the beginning of the song, Patrick sounds so soulful, raw, and passionate, and just truly beautiful on the track. But sadly, this is yet another song that has a cringy lyric that just kind of gets to me, and it's the whole "give me a boost" over Heaven's Gate. The use of the word boost, I don't know why, that just kind of gets under my skin. It just sounds like an elementary way of saying what they're trying to actually say. Give me a boost? I just can't picture myself singing along to that seriously. And like I said, this song is set up like it's gonna be a very intense, powerful, emotional, and serious song, but just that line alone really turns me off. This song could have been executed in such a better way, and it is a damn shame because I love the sound of this song. It's just, I cringe a little bit at Boost. Track 7 is Champion, and I really did not like this one that much because it just felt like there wasn't a lot of substance to it, and it was like they were trying to make a Centuries Part 2, but with weaker and blander lyrics. This chorus is very repetitive, and that's like the main element in this song, and it just doesn't really go anywhere, and it really starts to drag towards the end especially. And I do really like Champion's chorus and the way that it sounds. It's just that that's really all this song has to offer, is that. And like I said, it's repeated several times. Even if that chorus can get stuck in your head, I still feel like this song as a whole can be very forgettable, and that sucks. So from what I've seen so far, most fans aren't really digging Sunshine Riptide, and neither am I. And that's because in the beginning especially, they're just trying to sound like something that they're not. The chorus is the one thing that I do really enjoy about this, but the rest of the song is just so scattered and strange that I feel like I need to be really drunk to enjoy this song. But hey, it's still better than the next track. So every fangirl and their mother knows how I feel about Young and Menace, and I don't want to continue to pound it into your head, but this is the worst song that Fall Out Boy have ever created in my opinion. I absolutely hate it, I'm not gonna lie. There's way too much production and vocal effects, and I don't know why they were trying to sound so dubsteppy, and like the chorus just drags on way too long. It's so obnoxious, I can't stand it. I really cannot stand to listen to this full song. And it really is a huge blemish on this album that overshadows the closing track for me. So last but not least, we have Bishop's Knife Trick, and I actually do think this is a pretty decent track, but it's just the placement of Young and Menace right before it, I feel like takes away from the power of this song. It's a nice closing point on the album, but like I said, Young and Menace kind of drowns that out. Like, I feel like if somebody listened to this album for the first time who hadn't heard any of the singles before, they would be so focused and kind of overstimulated on Young and Menace that they would forget how good this closing track is. But standing alone, this is one of the better songs. Like I said, Patrick sounds pretty great on this one, and the choruses are definitely memorable and singable, but again, there are a few lyrics that kind of throw me off, but for this one, I'm forgiving. Mania as an album is just okay. It's not as bad as I expected, but it certainly hasn't won me over to the point where I feel like I need to buy it or anything. I definitely do not plan on purchasing this album, and even though I consider about half of this album to be my favorites on it, I can't say that I love any of these songs, and that's a first when it comes to Fall Out Boy albums for me. There's always been at least a handful of songs on their records that I could say that I love, but that isn't the case for Mania. The beginning of this record is great, but the majority of songs here are very middle ground and just very awkward lyrically that they're just not for me. And if it weren't for some of those odd lyric choices, I feel like I could appreciate this a lot more and take it more seriously. And Mania is also so inconsistent sound-wise that it just feels so messy. messy. They're trying every kind of style possible, and they just don't sound that great together. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this record down in the comment section below. Please be respectful. This is just my personal opinion. This is definitely my least favorite Fall Out Boy album, but hey, at least I don't hate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to leave a like on this video while you're here. Like I said, let me know what you think of this album down in the comment section below. Maybe tell me your favorite songs from this record. I'm honestly kind of sad that I didn't like this more than I did, but it could always be worse. At least it wasn't an album of all Young and Menace, because I could not handle that. With that said, guys, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you all next time.